Hello, I'm Antonia Shipley. I'm Deputy Political Editor here at the University of York's official newspaper, News, and I'm with YSTV. On the 2nd of May, North Yorkshire will be electing a mayor for the very first time. This mayor will have powers over public transport provisions such as bus services, policing and fire services, and also planning and regeneration such as net zero ambitions. You have the opportunity to be at the forefront of change in this historical event. To do so, you must register to vote by Tuesday, the 16th of April, because as students actually have the luxury of being able to vote twice. You can vote at home in local and mayoral elections, and you can also vote at university. If you wish to apply for the postal vote, the deadline for that is Wednesday, the 17th of April. If you do choose to vote in person, please remember that you need a valid form of ID such as passport, or licence. Today, we'll be interviewing the Labour candidate, David Scaife, and we've reached out to all the candidates and look forward to getting to talk to them, so you get to find out as much as possible about what's going on. Typically, student turnout at the University of York in these types of elections is low, but you have the opportunity to change that and have your say. If you don't vote, can't complain. Without further ado, let's get on with the interviews. Hello, good morning, and I'm Antonia Shipley. Today we have David Scaife with us, the Labour mayoral candidate for North Yorkshire. As explained before, the mayoral candidate will have powers over transport, policing and planning, such as net zero ambitions. So David, if you'd like to tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, hello everyone. So I'm 38 years old, I live in Weldrake. I'm from Harrogate originally. I came to York St John University. I've lived in York pretty much since I was 19, 20, own a small business just in York, a men's clothing shop. And I want to become the mayor for York and North Yorkshire because I think we need very different people involved in politics. Coming from a small business background, having a young family, a wife was a teacher, and my older brother was a police officer. I think having that engagement with those professions that have been heavily impacted over the last 14 years, unfortunately, gives me a different viewpoint on things, so that's why I'm here.
Brilliant. So York is an amazing place. We're so lucky to study here, and there's so much latent talent, including at this university. But most graduates see this city as completely unaffordable. It's just a stepping stone. They get their degree and they have to leave. How do you think we can ensure graduates and other young people stay in the city, make sure the talent that we've got here stays here?
It is a huge issue we have. I've had quite a lot of conversations with students over the last 4 or 5 months, and it's a real fear I have. We have York is about 11 times average house price to salary. North York's about 9 times, so we have a huge issue on affordability of housing. Being a student now is a lot more expensive than it was when I was a student 20 years ago. The cost of rent in York, I believe the average student's paying about £180, £190 a week in student rent. That is astronomical. So you are leaving our fine universities, our colleges, and you're leaving with a huge amount of debt and you can't afford to stay here. We have this huge brain drain of people who are having to leave our region and we're not holding on to them, and it's a great shame because we're having this void between people who are sort of early 20s and kind of like 50, and we need those 20s, 30s, 40-year-olds who are going to drive the next generation of our economy. They are the entrepreneurs, they're the people who are going to bring new skills in. So we've got to be building affordable housing. We haven't been building enough. We haven't been building enough quality affordable housing and rental properties, because a lot of young professionals, they want to have the flexibility to move around. They might move away from York and North Yorkshire and come back to having that flexibility. Also about transport, we need to be having an fully integrated transport system that people can move around the entire region, so we can take work to people and people to work, and also to be able to go into other parts of Yorkshire as well. So we have a great connection with South Yorkshire, obviously, and West Yorkshire in terms of growing the economy and people travelling over those borders, so having that connectivity with Tracy Braben and Oliver Coppard, the other 2 mayors in Yorkshire. So just being able to keep those people here by having a much more affordable lifestyle, basically. About 25% of under 25-year-olds don't drive or have access to a car or want to drive. So again, we need to be seeing that as a future, because in 10 years' time, there's going to be a lot more people like that. So if we don't have the integrated transport system in place, then people are going to find it really difficult to move around as well.
Yeah, so just piggybacking off that housing point, a lot of students have really negative experiences with private landlordism, and many students live in pretty horrible conditions, impacts on health, well-being, learning. And last year, the City of York Council used to release a report on the state of housing in York, and 39% of students said that their housing condition negatively affected their overall health. Is this something that you plan to address and combat if you're elected, and if so, how can you sort of go about it?
Absolutely. So if you don't have a house that's safe, that's dry, that's livable, that's quality, you're just not going to be in a good place. It all starts in that. You need that safe environment, and we need to be pushing quality affordable homes, but also working with landlords. I had a terrible time with my landlord when I was at York. It was awful. The amount they used to charge us, overcharges, the state of the home, it was terrible. We've got to clamp down on that. That's working with the universities and those private landlords, bringing them together and really highlighting the point. I've had some good conversations with University of York already, about how we can do that, and how we can really not obviously we need to be working with the landlords and we need to be bringing them in, but we need to be holding them to account if they're not providing quality homes. So having some kind of much more stricter on the good homes charter, for example, and making sure that the accommodation that is being provided is quality and is good enough for people. People are paying a lot of money, but also if you're not living in a good, healthy accommodation, as you said, people are becoming ill from this. And it's not right, and not when it's so expensive as well as what you're having to pay. So we need to really clap down on it, but working with the landlords to make sure that they are sticking to making sure that the facilities they're provided are good enough for the people who are paying a lot of money for it.
Well, you speak a lot about integrated transport in particular in your manifesto. Student buses and trains and just getting around the region, seeing the rest of the region. That's a huge financial strain for students, and many of us don't have the luxury of seeing all that North Yorkshire has to offer. So do you have any plans to improve student transport, making it more accessible for say, students with disabilities and also affordable?
Yeah, so we saw the Labour announcement yesterday about making it easier to go into franchising, to take ownership back of buses. The investment and money is going to be coming into that is going to be well needed. In certain areas of York and North Yorkshire, our system is okay, but as you say, when we go out into the wider field, it's not good enough. We need to be able to connect up the whole region, so there's going to be a lot of investment coming into that. We are going to be developing a franchising system that's going to be working not just with the other mayors, but working east to west. A huge problem we have in the north particular is travelling right across the country. So working with mayors over in Manchester, obviously Andy Burnham, Steve Rodman in Liverpool, so how we connect east to west as well, and really put investment into it. We've never really invested heavily into our bus and train networks. And over the years, numbers have dropped. About 50% less mileage is now done by buses in our region because the investment is not there anymore. And our bus numbers are gradually going down and down and down. We haven't even got to pre-COVID levels in terms of people using buses, so people aren't using them. The cap of £2 has been a fantastic way to get people back in, making sure we're keeping that, but really investing in our infrastructure and in our bus networking system so people can use it. People want to use the buses more, and our roads are becoming very congested, particularly the A64. People just naturally jump in the car. You don't have access to a car, that's not obviously something you can do, but also if more people are pushed onto the roads, it's just going to make all the roads more congested. So we've got to be taking people out there and having that whole joined up system where people can naturally think of, I'm going to get on the bus or get on the train or cycle, especially somewhere like York. That's my first point of call.
So integrated transport sort of fits in with your climate ambitions. North Yorkshire has been something of a trailblazer in net zero ambitions. In Scarborough, there's a fantastic company that makes products out of seaweed that one of the first in the country to actually be reducing their be carbon negative. Do you have any more plans on how we can improve our climate targets and ambitions and enrich people to want to do so?
Yeah, it really is about bringing people on board with this, and it's about looking at it from all different avenues. So it's looking at how people travel around is the classic case. Taking cars off the road is going to be a fantastic way to reach that. Building quality homes that are sustainable, that are meeting better standards of energy efficiency. We're going to be doing a full review of all rooftop space that is owned by local authorities to see how we can add more solar into the region. I welcome Labour's Green Prosperity Plan. I met with Ed Miliband only a few weeks ago, and he's coming up to our region very soon to look at what our capabilities are, because we obviously have, as you said, we have fantastic coastal, we have fantastic rural areas, so we have a lot of opportunity to really drive towards net zero. Companies like yourself over in, as you said, over in Scarborough, who are growing the seaweed, you know, though we have so many of those organisations and businesses doing fantastic work already, but it is how we do it on a multifaceted level. It's not just one answer, it's the homes we build, it's how we move people around, it's working with the organisations, it's growing our circular economy, so we're basically having less waste. We have organisations in our region who do fantastic work with taking waste products from other businesses, so really grow our circular economy, so we're reaching net zero that way. So we have so much going on already, and it is really about not just one single way. It's every decision we make, how is that going to impact positively on the environment? So the transport systems we incorporate, the way we build our houses, the industries we're attracting with the work that the University of York's doing, the work that Fix Our Food is doing, how we produce the food. We have obviously in North Yorkshire a fantastic heritage of food production. Can we increase our food production? So we're bringing in less food from overseas, so we're reducing our food mileage. All these different avenues all will have a positive impact on our environment. It's making sure we're doing it all across rather than just one singular thing, because that's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, so a massive story that's hit the headlines over the last couple of years about the University of York in general is student safety in town. I mean, it's one of the first things that comes up when you Google. So this high case of spiking in York, which has been everywhere. Are you any plans to tackle this and collaborate with university and student-led safety groups such as Night Safe and sort of make things a little bit easier and make students feel safe whilst they're here?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is about making our city safer for everyone. And we have a lot of people here, we have a lot of students here, we have a lot of people who use our city. We need a safe environment. It's about engaging with community groups who are already doing fantastic work, and it's also about having a greater presence in the city as well, not just in York but all over the region. It's about investing in our police, so bringing in police numbers, bringing in PCSOs, having community groups literally on the ground working on this. We are bringing in 13,000 more police and PCSOs, so having more frontline community officers around as well. But this is the great opportunity with having the Mayor, is having this combined working and bringing partnerships in together. It's not about me sitting at the top and ignoring everything that's going on. It's about bringing the groups in that are already doing fantastic work and supporting them further. We are going to have the £18 million a year mayoral fund over 30 years. It's about 540 million. That's the kind of money that we can invest in projects to make things like our streets safer, to make our city safer. I also going to release the Mayor's High Street Fund, and that's going to go exactly into these kind of things as well. So how we rejuvenate our city and make them nicer places to be, but also how we improve street lighting, how we improve security cameras, how we work with people like the BID and the street rangers, how we work with the street night angels, these kind of organisations to make our community safer. But also how we work with our shops, our bars, our restaurants as well, to make sure that they're doing things correctly, that they're understanding the needs of people and their customer, and they're making a safe environment as well. So again, it is this multifaceted. It's not just one answer to it. It's bringing organisations in and me being in that position to be able to work with different groups and hopefully bring some finance and some funding to be able to support it as well.
Brilliant. So student turnout in elections in York here is unfortunately typically quite low. What is your message to students as to why they should register and turn out to vote? It's
so important to vote. I must admit, when I was younger, when I was a student, I wasn't overly engaged. I was just obsessed with playing cricket, basically. That was my entire life as a younger person. But I wish I'd been so much more engaged, because decisions that you can have, making your vote count, is so valuable. It's this idea that it's only one vote, it doesn't matter. It really does. If you generally want to see change, you've got to get out and vote and engage in it. And it's so important, particularly in a city like York, where there's so much going on. It's a fantastic city. There's going to be a lot of change. We've got a national government that's going to be changing. We've obviously got a mayor coming in that's going to be looking over it. We've just had a new council elected over last year, so there's a lot of change coming. And you can be at the forefront of it. And I would recommend anyone to engage in politics at a much younger age, get out and vote. It's more than just one vote. It really does add up. It can make a huge difference.
So finally, speaking of change, North Yorkshire is a region dominated by the Conservatives, but what do you envision this region could look like if in the hands of Labour power?
I think it's really investing back into the basics, our infrastructure, and getting things right at the beginning. We've had too many big broken promises, too many dreams of buying hotels and all this kind of stuff. It's absolute nonsense. It's getting back to the basics, the fundamentals, building the quality homes, building the infrastructure that people want to see, that they can use, bringing in a strong police presence, that we have people in our community that are making our environment safe. It's getting those things. It's not these big broken promises about year after year after year. And the North generally as well, not just North Yorkshire and York, but the North generally has seen just drastic reductions in investment and funding coming into our region. Having a Labour government, having a Labour mayor, having two Labour mayors already in Yorkshire, having people like Andy Burnham and Steve Rotherham and stronger Labour MPs in the region, and now a Labour council in York. That's a great singular voice going to national government saying we are important in the North, particularly in York and North Yorkshire. bring the investment in, that we can build, get the houses in, get a better transport system in, that we can create an environment where our next generation can stay in our region. We want the students, the next generation to be able to afford and live and work in our region. Unfortunately, at the minute, it doesn't feel like they can, and that's got to change. It will change with a Labour government because we're going to invest in those core foundations that we need.
Amazing, thank you so much. That's everything that we have from Davies Gate. Remember, the deadline to register to vote is Tuesday the 16th of April. If you wish to have a postal vote, so you can vote at home as well as here, that deadline is the day after, on Wednesday the 17th, and the election will be taking place on the 2nd of May. Do remember that if you're voting in person, you will need ID. This could be in the form of passport or driving licence, but it is essential. And remember to go out and be an active part in the community and vote. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you very much.